You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net. Hello, Tamara. How you doing?
I'm rolling.
Rolling?
Yeah, some nice smelling stuff that I got from a friend from Ontario.
Oh, really?
I wonder who that
What's it smell like?
It smells fruity and yummy and yeah, almost like lemony. I don't know. It's got a yum smell to it. That's all I know. Actually, I just took because I just rolled my hubby a doobie from the other stuff that we had, and I just took it out of his hand and said, "Hang on, I'm just rolling some of this stuff. I'll give you another drink." So we are sampling right now.
Oh, good. Sampling.
Yeah.
And did that have a? Was it labeled?
Yeah, this is the GK. You said it was GK and then G. This is the GK. You'll have to let me know what the strains are.
GK is grape kush.
Grape kush. I figured it was a kush of some sort, just even by the density of the buds.
Yeah.
This has got to be a kush in the smell. I'm like, yeah. So we kind of figured it was a kush of some sort because, like I said, and the density, man. Kudos to you, Al.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. These are top notch. These should be actually, probably maybe even like judged in a cup because.
Oh, really? Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking here. I got this phantom behind me. That's why I've got the background on.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, he's just had hernia surgery on Monday, right? So he's still
Right.
at day 3, he's like, yeah, stitches or whatever. They got steri strips on him.
Right.
14 days and then they come off, but he can't do much, right? So we just had to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's a painful. That's not fun and exciting surgery.
No, he is in a fair amount of pain, and he's pretty stubborn. And they only gave him Tylenol 3. It's not like they gave him some extraordinary.
Right. Well, hopefully, this gift can help relieve some of that pain from him.
Well, that's what we're like. I said, that's why it couldn't have come at a better time, right?
Yeah, that was actually that was the first time that I've used the vacuum seal machine.
It was open when it got here. It wasn't sealed anymore.
Oh, what was open? The package or the box?
No, it was all sealed, but the vacuum itself, like the vacuuming itself, had popped. Right?
Yeah.
I find that happens a lot. Like with those vacuum sealers, like even when I was sending candy, people say, "Oh, it came like." Did you? And I'd vacuum seal it so it was like tight, right? Like there was no air. Yeah. And then by the time they got it on the other end, it was like I hadn't vacuum sealed it, and that's what happened. I got nailed.
Okay, well, that was like the first time, or maybe the second time I had used it.
Yeah.
So now that I know that, I'm going to assume that probably if it broke loose, it would have broke loose on the seal that I would have had to put on it, and that being that was like time 1 or 2, it probably wasn't done right.
Oh,
I'll have to talk to the expert who's used it a lot since then.
Yeah,
and she'll let me know what I did wrong.
It's not, sometimes it can be just from bouncing. Like, I know you had newspaper and stuff, but sometimes just different and barometric pressure too, because it's coming from Ontario to British Columbia, so it could be just elevation different, right? There could be so many. But like seriously, that's how I got nailed with 4 guys. But now it's legal, and nobody would.
Well, it was the thing. Yeah, like I wasn't doing anything illegal. I was gifting you the legal amount. Actually, it was only 28 gram ounce, so it wasn't. I still had another 2 grams to spare.
Right. So nothing you did was illegal, and it would be no problem. Even with, I know even the post office does offer smell-proof envelopes for whatever. I think it's
Yeah.
20 bucks or whatever. But then you're just kind of like, alerting Canada Post that, hey, this is weed, right? Like,
Right. Right.
I just don't find that really particularly appealing. That I want to go to the, post office and pick up an envelope that screams, "Hey, I got cannabis in me."
Well, did the box smell on the outside?
Nope, didn't smell a damn thing.
I didn't smell anything. Okay,
No,
that's
didn't
good.
smell nothing. And like I said, it was delivered, and like none of my, and especially here, anybody smelt weed? The post office probably reeks like weed every day because half of them smoke it. In fact, not all of them.
Right.
I had a conversation today with a lady. It was quite funny. She come in for her cigarettes, and she's an old lady. She's only been in there a couple times, and she goes, I said 4 packages of Next Smooth, and she goes, "Oh, you got quite the memory, eh?" And I started snickering. I says, "Yeah, not bad for a pothead, eh?" She kind of looks at me. She goes, "What did you say?" I got a pretty good memory for somebody who's a medical, And I said, "I'm a patient. I can't use cannabis for medicine, and I have since 2012. Really?" So then she got really intrigued and wanted to know a little more. And she's got a
Oh
case,
yeah.
an older lady. And at my store, I mean, we don't sell cannabis or have anything to do with it, but I've got the ability to still tell people and talk to
Oh
people.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you've told me in the past that your employer doesn't have a problem with you, talking about cannabis.
No,
So
not like, I mean,
take
and
the opportunity to educate people when you have
right,
that. That's right.
right. And there's a lot of seniors that come into my store because there's a seniors home that's 2 blocks away, right? Like that's a long care
Oh.
home, right? So there's quite a few of them that come in with their walkers and stuff. But she thought it was, and she just kept asking questions. And I've got a couple friends that use CBD. I go, you know what, CBD is great. I says, but really, if you're wanting pain relief and you're wanting sleep, you need full spectrum. Like you need a little bit of THC too. Like, so I kind of explained to her, it's like tearing a carrot apart and eating the inside, and not really getting the full benefits of that carrot if you don't
Mhm.
keep in the full spectrum. I says, you can get oil, but you can just put a little bit under your tongue. I says, and you don't even have to smoke it. I says, but that little bit under your tongue is going to help you with pain. It'll help you with sleep. I says, then you can take that oil and you can make your own edibles if you'd like to.
Mhm.
So I was kind of like, and she goes, and what's your name and when do you work again? So I assume that there are going to be a lot more visits and a lot more questions.
Yeah, there's a product that's coming out. I believe June, I think. And you'll be able to take that and stick it in between your lip and your teeth, your gum, so like chewing tobacco.
Oh, like a Zion or a Zonic or whatever they are, those little tobacco pouches.
I don't. Yeah, it's just a little packet,
Yep.
and you'll be able to stick it in there, and then it'll dissolve, and you pull the packet out. And yeah, for somebody like
Is that recreational or is that medical? Like what
well,
is?
it's at a it will be at the recreational stores, but
Oh, I see.
this is something that is I look at it as a new technology, anyways, that would
Well,
come in for handy for people
I think
like
it's great.
this
I think
lady.
it's fabulous. Actually, it's funny too because I had the owners of Rocky Mountain Cannabis that come in my store all the time too, and she comes over and she says, "So you know any trimmers?" I says, "Well, yeah." She goes, "I know you." She goes, "But you know anywhere else?" I says, "Well, my husband's home." I says, "Why would you need? What do you get?" She goes, "Well, we need to come down in 2 weeks." She goes, "And I want it banged off in 2 days." I says, "Tell me the days." I says, "And I go, well, what are you paying? Minimum wage?" And I started laughing. I go, "Look, I make more than that here." I says, "You got to pay me at least what I'm making here."
Yeah, really.
But yeah, like they're looking for trimmers. Because they hand trim, right? They want people that are going to come in and
Oh,
hand trim and do it properly. They don't do, and it's a microcraft, right? And
right.
then they usually all day, which is the name of the branding that they go under, all day, which is a
Yeah.
BC distributor, is usually picks up their cannabis and sells it. And I've had some of it; it's pretty good. But yeah, 420, I'm seeing it's getting closer and closer because I keep forgetting about 420 because I'm working and it's like 2 days or 3 days away, and I'm like, holy fucking Asia's doing all these things for 420, and we're supposed to be going, but apparently we're not because Alvin can't drive that far.
Well, yeah. You got a husband there who just had surgery. He's not going to be healed by Saturday.
No, he's like 4 weeks minimum, 6 weeks,
Oh
like
yeah.
4 to 6 minimum, like kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
Like he can't even lift anything for like 4 weeks, over 10
Yeah.
pounds, like nothing.
Mhm.
So it's supposed to be going, like, he's supposed to be keeping it pretty, yeah. But okay, this is
Yeah.
really JCL.
Is
Yep.
it?
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, nothing better than the first one because this is my first duty of the day because I work.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, that's good then. It's
So this is the first joint of the day, and then I got, like I said, I got home from work, and my bed has been an issue. Like the plyboard, I think whoever sold it to me, it got wet, right? So the other night we were in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the fucking thing folded like a cracker.
I saw that and I thought, fuck, that's a new
We have
bed. You just got that one.
Well, they bought it last August from the brick, but then her son had it, right? And then they moved, and it wouldn't fit in her house, or whatever. But it was out on her deck, so I'm thinking that it might have got a little bit wet because there's no way plyboard, even when it's this thick, is going to fold like a cracker like that, no matter how much you weigh, right? Anyways, so then we're like, every time we get into it's creaking, and I'm worried that okay, we've moved the bed, like we've moved the boards back and whatever, it's going to snap again, right? So we took it all apart when I got home from work and added some more screws and put some fucking underneath the board. I put some cores and some 2x4s and fucking so it's sitting on something solid.
Yeah.
But in the interim of putting it together, we realized that it's missing pieces, and
Oh,
that's probably why it wasn't. Yeah, it's missing several pieces to the bed. So,
no wonder.
anyways,
That's why it's
we've
falling
screwed.
apart.
We've taken screws and screwed everything. We had Taven because Alvin can't really. Alvin did like what he could, but he can't be lifting stuff. So Taven and
No, I know. Yeah, yeah.
but we got her done. So I made it in time.
His position now is to sit in the chair and put opinions out because he can't like you say, you can't lift in it.
No, and he's I think more comfortable laying in our bed, kind of, rather than even sitting up because I mean he's cut from like here to here, right? Like he's got he's got no belly button left. Like they've taken his button right out because that's where the hernia was. It was actually like protruding out of his belly button. So what they did is they've gone in and they did laparoscopic, right? Laparoscopic surgery, but they went in and they pushed everything back together and then covered it, like put a mesh around him, right? Like stuff on him and then closed him back up and basically just stitched him up with no belly button. So he's gonna have no belly button left.
No belly button. Yeah, there's the mesh inside there.
Right, and so that
hold everything together.
Right,
it's like
and he's
full time garter belt.
Right, and it's gonna take some time for it to cohese to the inside and hopefully his body doesn't fucking reject it, right? Because right, because that's always it's not always a possibility, but some people's bodies just don't take well to foreign objects in it. Him on the other hand, he's got a plate in his head and he's got whatever in his hands, and I don't think we're gonna have an issue, but again, you never know, right? So yeah, but he's pretty much he's pretty sore. Like, and I can empathize. I had a C-section. I remember. It's not fun.
No. Any surgery.
No.
Is always in dealing with healing afterwards. It's never
right. And day 3 after surgery, we all know that day 3 is when all the pain and all the fucking really swelling and all the gross shit really happens, right? Day 3.
Yeah. I got a couple things here to discuss tonight. We got a big thing going on this weekend. It's 420. Also, we got some new shows here on the network that we can talk about.
That's awesome.
And I seen this on Facebook, and I thought, what the fuck is this all about? So I went and did some investigating on it, and it just didn't make sense to me. But a lady by the name of Dee Reed, she's a bud tender. She was up for a bud tender award this spring. She posted something on Facebook about people saying, "Stop microwaving your weed."
What?
Oh yeah.
Or you microwaving your weed?
The same thing. What?
The only time we ever microwaved our weed was back in the 80s when we got cut the branch and throw it in a bag and either had to let it sit on a plate for fucking 2 days before it would dry, or you were really desperate and you put it in the fucking microwave. And then
dry it.
to dry it. But again,
apparently this is done to increase its potency.
what? Be like decarbonization. You're just cooking the weed before all the THC off it, you dumbasses. That makes no sense.
Oh, I know. I wasn't the only one that responded the same way. Like, she was telling them to stop microwaving it, and
Jesus Christ.
Apparently increase the potency. And I'm thinking, what the heck? Like, no.
How is that even possible?
Yeah. Well, basically, what you're doing is the same thing as when you're smoking it. You put it in the oven. You're just decarboxylating with the microwave.
Yeah, decarb.
I could. What else are you're decarboxylating? You're decarbing it, but what are you overcooking in the same process?
All you're doing is cooking the THC, the CBDs.
That's all you're doing. Yeah, you're smoking decarbox. You're smoking decarbox. Yeah.
That would be the radiation you just infused into your fucking weed, you dumbass.
I was gonna say it's already microwave because most of the, not all, but most of the cannabis is
eradicated. Yeah.
You're right. Now it's not. I don't think it's not the exact same process, but it is microwave to a point.
Here's my question with that. If you're growing clean weed in a clean facility, why would you need to worry about any of that mold and bugs and shit that you would have to eradicate it for? Unless you're growing in a filthy facility that you just don't give a fuck.
Or what I've heard over the years is that the numbers are pretty low, like pharmaceutical grade, as far as the numbers when it comes to the bacteria, so on and so forth. But that's what they are, and they are meaning it. But with that, most of them, anyways, are zapping it. So I'm thinking, well, these people are already buying zapped weed. Why would you want to zap it again?
The thing is too, like if they're zapping it,
Yeah. So I read a few. I read a few articles on it, and it says, oh yeah, it makes it more potent. It converts it from THCA to THC, Delta 9. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, they're doing the same thing when they're smoking a joint. So how are you making it any more potent?
There have been people that have had adverse side effects from just smoking Delta 9 or eating just specifically Delta 9.
Oh, just straight up.
Right? There's the smoking, like I said, back to the carrot, right? Ripping the cannabis plant down into just Delta 9s or just THCA or just whatever, depending on what you're using it for, can be harmful. And we've already seen that there have been articles that THC Delta 9 specifically by itself can be harmful.
See, now there was a recent study out about CBD too, about it not being effective by itself.
It's not. I will 110%.
The whole plant, right? It's the whole plant.
I've been saying that for a while. And like I said, we wanted the government to legalize cannabis. So we fed them a whole line of shit about CBD because it won't get you high. And it fucking hurt, didn't it? We got cannabis that's legal now. And now we're going to tell you the truth. CBD is a hoax and it's a bunch of shit. It's like snake oil. It does fuck all for you by itself. You need a full spectrum.
Here's the this is one of the articles on the microwaving. And when I first started reading this, because the question was, come on, does putting weed in the microwave make you more high? And I started reading it. It says that can result in a stronger high. And I'm going, what do you mean? And then it says that's because when you put it in the microwave, you can activate specific cannabinoids and the precursors of cannabinoids, such as THCA and CBDA. As a result, the process will convert inactive acidic cannabinoids into active ones like THC and CBD. Really?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Like add fire and puff.
Like Yeah, like it doesn't say anywhere. I didn't see anywhere in here at
It's
the beginning about.
the microwave's getting high, dumbass. Like,
Yeah, they said that the big risk is that you can burn it.
I don't know why anybody would do that. I just think it's ridiculous. Again, I think people that smoke cannabis with tobacco are ridiculous too. I think, why are you mixing your? And my son does it. He says they're called what I don't give a fuck what they're called. It's ridiculous that you're mixing tobacco and ruining your good.
Oh, don't be mixing tobacco with it.
But they do. It's something that's younger generation. My son, like I said, he's 27. They call him poppers. I'm like,
Yeah, poppers.
weed. I can't. No, you're not, dude. You're addicted to the tobacco.
Yeah. That's got
You're not
tobacco
addicted to the
in it.
cannabis. Shut up.
You're getting because you don't. If you don't smoke tobacco normally, somebody who smokes tobacco, will get a buzz off of the tobacco.
Yeah.
It's all those chemicals, the formaldehyde and that poison.
Then you're going to get addicted to the tobacco because you're mixing it with the cannabis.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have tobacco mixed with your cannabis, you're going to get that anxious, gross, withdrawal feeling because you don't have any nicotine. And then you're going to assume that you're withdrawing from cannabis because you don't have. It's not the cannabis; it's the nicotine from the.
Yeah, it's the nicotine. It's the tobacco. Oh yeah. No, what that's mixing death with something that's preserving life.
I know. I agree. I think it's ridiculous. But these kids are doing that. And I think in Quebec it's quite prevalent that they'll mix it and put it in a bong. And again, I've heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew some people who were doing it, and gagged me.
Yeah, and I smoke tobacco. Okay, like I am a smoker, but I'm still not going to waste my weed mixing it with tobacco. It just seems pointless. You're not even going to get the flavor, the terpenes out of the cannabis. You're mixing with tobacco. Like, it's not a thing. I don't get it.
I'm just continue reading this little bit of this article here. It says here, they say that this conversion, we're talking about THCA over to THC delta 9. It says this process occurs when cannabis is heated at high temperatures between 100 and 120 degrees Celsius. The heat helps by quickly facilitating the process. Without heat, this process can occur naturally, but it can take weeks to months depending on how long it's stored. Well,
who wrote this?
I'm just not into this microwaving cannabis thing.
But I mean, who wrote this article? What did they do their research? Like, who seriously wrote that article and who published it? That's bad. That's bad journalism. It is. It's bad journalism. I'm sorry. That's
it should be explained that just by heating it up, by smoking it, you're doing exactly the same process.
And if you really want to do that, it's safer to probably do it in a toaster oven or your oven and decarb it because that's what.
I'd much rather do it in. I read one article that talked about doing it in hot water. Where you put it in a jar inside hot water,
Oh,
so there's no water on
why would you put your weed? Like, why would you put your weed in hot water?
No, you put your weed in a jar, and you put the jar into the hot water.
So you're steaming it.
Yeah.
Warming it up. Yeah. Well, that might be, you're doing the same thing when you light it with a freaking lighter, or like that's.
Or just put it in your regular oven. That doesn't do funny things with molecules.
Or you're using a volcano, or if you're using a bong, or if you're using any sort of heat source, it does exactly the same thing. It seems it just seems redundant and ridiculous. But hey, what do I know?
Yeah. The one article talked about how back in the day people were using it to just basically to dry their cannabis, but it seemed like now it's from her posts and the comments afterwards and
See, I've heard lots of people that don't dry their cannabis. They cut it off the branch and they throw it into their deep freeze, and then when they want it, they pull it out and they dry it and then they cure it. And I'm thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah. There's people who do that. Yeah, they freeze it.
I'm like, but wouldn't you dry it before you froze it?
No, live frozen.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the live frozen rosin.
I guess, right? Because then you can press it
Yeah,
with high heat.
that's
Yeah,
how.
I
Yeah,
just
it's
thought that was weird too.
frozen.
Thinking, like,
Yeah, right off the bat, right?
but then again, when I make honey oil, I always freeze my ISO, right?
Yeah.
Always.
Well, yeah.
And then
It
I do a
helps.
quick rinse, and it's golden, and then it gets heated up, right? But
Yeah, because the cold helps remove the
trichomes,
trichomes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's exactly you want that quick raw, like you don't like. I don't know. I've got a whole different opinion on some people. I don't soak mine for 48 hours. I don't leave mine on a stove for any more than 45 minutes when I make it.
Yeah, yeah.
The chlorophyll kills me. Like I cannot do the green, right? So then again, why I shock it with ice water because I've
Yeah.
made it into a ghee. I cannot do the green. It kills me.
No, I had no problem consuming the green oil, for years on paper and stuff like that, and rolling it in the joint. Now, when it comes to doing anything like with dabs or, with my showerizer, no, I want the quick wash stuff. I don't want the green
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. No,
It's like I said, you're just leaving the chlorophyll out, and the chlorophyll really has no benefit. It really doesn't. Like I said, the acidity of the THA, right, in that plant is well gone after it's no longer a sprout, because that's where the
yeah.
acidity is.
Well, you've decarboxylated it before you've put it into your well, whatever you're putting into it. You put it into coke, or we're making it into.
The sprouts are raw and not cooked or
Yeah,
heated.
I'm looking at. I'm looking at it as the cooking end
So
of
the
things.
raw cannabis has got acidity. As soon as it's dried and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it loses the acidity, right? And it's the
Yeah.
acidity in the cannabis that some people need for their health. And that's
Yeah.
what they're finding is the acidity in the raw plant and plant matter itself is what's beneficial. More so for some aspects of some, than others, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
disputing the dry flower, but again, no research has been done. This at least is being researched, a group study being done on it on a small basis, right? But um, we'll see what the outcomes are because I don't think she's got the final results quite yet. Because once she has the final result, she's going to come back on my show or come back on our show. Like I told her, either one, because if
Yeah.
there's some time between when you were on my show, then why don't you come on Pace rather than just, then it kind of gives a broader audience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For her.
This is the microgreen.
Micro sprouts, like bean sprouts. Like we're talking, like 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 we're talking, the little alfalfa sprouts that you buy to put on your sandwich, like in
Yeah.
those little containers. We're talking those. And the best effect, I've been told by her, is that the best effect for Haley. I'm not saying this will be for everybody. It possibly is the best time, but for the acidity that she needs in her keto diet, for the epilepsy that she has, right?
Mhm.
The sprout is best between 10 and 14 days. So you don't keep it for very long. Like you're just going to be consuming it continually. But again, she was looking at the outcome of 10,000 seeds to be sprouted a month. So technically, according to Health Canada, that's 10,000 plants. And nobody's going to be licensing for 10,000 plants.
No.
Even though
Yeah.
they're never going to flower, they're never going to come to maturity. They're never going to be a clone. They're going to be, but
Oh,
again,
it's not even really going to be a plant.
no, they aren't. But according to Health Canada, as soon as that seed's popped,
The root.
considered a
Yeah.
plant, right?
Yeah.
And that's $1,000 per plant, blah blah blah. It would just be, if she ever got caught, it would just be a fucking nightmare for her. So
Oh
she's
yeah.
trying to take the legal way, which is becoming increasingly more difficult because of the fact that that's a lot of 10,000 seeds a month, right? So
Yeah.
trying to find somebody that can help her produce that, or even have it so that she can, because it's kind of a shit show.
Yeah. Well, talking about show, I see it's the bottom of the hour. We've got some more things I want to discuss in the next segment, and one of them will be 420.
Awesome.
And talking about that, I've got a little promo going on here. I'm going to run Legacy 420. Our sponsor is holding an event on Saturday, and it will include indigenous foods that will be cooked right there on spot.
Didn't they have one last year too that we were live at?
Yeah. It was last year, the year before that we
Yeah.
went down there. Yeah, and there'll be some vendors there, some crafts.
But it's your anniversary too, isn't it?
Correct. It's my 39th wedding anniversary on Saturday, and it wasn't planned to, and I had nothing. I agree.
I know, you weren't even a consumer when you and Gail got married, so the date meant absolutely.
No, I was a consumer, but I was a consumer, but I didn't know about any 420 celebration. Like as far as like,
we probably didn't have it
in Canada. There wasn't even a 420 parade. Like
I don't think there probably wasn't anything going on.
No, there was none of that was going on. Yeah, I knew about the 420 as far as cannabis and being cannabis and everything, but as far as parades and things, I don't think that was even really happening at that point.
I don't think it really was a thing until
because I
2005, I think really.
Yeah, it was right around the early 2000. I got sick in 2003, so I'm gonna say 2003, 2004 is when I started hearing about them being done.
Levine, I think, did one in Edmonton back in '98. I think that was because he was living in Edmonton back then, if I remember correctly. I think it was 1998. I think Malmo tried something at the Edmonton Ledge. I think that's when he got arrested, actually.
And I know when I found out about it, it had already been going on for a few years. Marco from Treating Yourself magazine, Marco Renda, he was involved with it then. There was a few other groups that were involved in it over the years. But so it's my anniversary, so it's just I'm going to be probably at home, having quiet time. I have to play both sides of it, right?
So you have another event coming up in May, anyways, that you're kind of So that's something we'll talk more of too. So let's go. Yeah, better get to your break.
We get our break, and here's a bit of a promo here on what I was talking about with Legacy 420 and what they're doing for Saturday's 420 celebrations. Talk to you all after the break. See you later. Hey, what are you doing this 420? Whatever you're doing, make sure to stop into Legacy 420 because the Indigenous owned and operated organic medical cannabis company is having an Indigenous themed 420 celebration. When you arrive, stop into the vending area featuring the local artisans and check out the fish, corn soup, Indian tacos, and other Indigenous foods that are being prepared throughout the day. Whatever you do, also make sure to bring your pets as they have their own area to bounce around in. And while you're there, take some time to talk to Ollie Dog, who will answer all your pet-related cannabis questions. And for you, don't forget to check out the free cannabis-infused samples. This 420, make sure to stop into 346 York Road on the Tiogananga, Mohawk Territory, home of Legacy 420, where the Indigenous medical cannabis legacy continues.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, They offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and in the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have two lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with, and then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, you're watching the Pace Radio Show, and if you miss our live shows, you can always catch your broadcast afterwards as a podcast at our website. Well, Tamara, going into that commercial break, I played the clip there on the Indigenous 420 Day down at Legacy 420. As far as 420s go, myself anyways, other than I think out west there in British Columbia, I'm not seeing any big outdoor events like in the past with the rallies that were held, because at one time there was only one in Ontario for the longest time. That was the one that was held at Victoria Park Avenue and Highway 420. Correct, that's what the highway number is, 420. Yeah. And then went marched down Clifton Hill, the big tourist area down there. And people from all over the country, I would see Dana Larson. He appeared. David Melmo Levine, and others came from out west and came to this 420. And then eventually, more of them came into the province. Like in Oshawa, Peterborough, Toronto, which became very large. But it doesn't seem like there's any of those type events going on.
In Alberta, Keith Fagan of Calgary 420 was kind of my mentor, and 420 was never a big thing for him. We would go to Edmonton sometimes because the Edmonton crew up there would hold a 420, and Global Marijuana March was more of our thing, right? We waited because we were in Alberta in April, the weather could be shitty. We drove to Edmonton in a blizzard one year, right? And then after I got my medical licensing, we did do a 420 in Lethbridge, but it was just gathering at Galt Gardens, marching down from Bob headquarters and sitting in the park and smoking cannabis all together, right? Now, I know after I left Lethbridge, there was a big event afterward. Now, I'm not sure if it goes on anymore either.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find some. I got some pictures here.
But yeah, we always like 420 was never a thing for, like I said, in Calgary. So I always went to Edmonton. Alvin and I went to Edmonton a couple times for 420. And we all did. We all
Yeah.
kind of traveled to Edmonton. I don't know, because that's where our legislation was. Like that was the capital of Alberta's Edmonton, right? So
The I know I got some here in my photo album of past 420s that that I attended. Yeah. Well, in the early days, it was, I went down to
wasn't it like
Falls, right? That was the only spot. But
the hash mob with Goodwins and stuff, and didn't they throw the great big party in downtown Toronto?
oh yeah,
And
even at library, there was one year they had like a seminar thing, not seminar, but speakers at the Hamilton Library, and Rosie Rothenbaum, the guy who served 20 years for hash in jail there. He spoke about how he worked his business, how he was able to smuggle hash into the country.
wow.
So, and then they would have draws and rallies, not rallies, but draws and raffles
Right.
at that event. And I'd come home with a box of paper, stoked stones, and
Right.
all kinds of goodies from buying raffle tickets.
Well, I'm seeing some disdain going on at the West Coast, as there's a few parties, but in one breath you see them originally, because originally 420 was always held at the art gallery, right?
Yeah.
Dana decided to go big that one year and have the great big bash on the beach, right? And then after
Right.
that, they had the issues, and then there's been nothing but issues. Now I see it breaking down once again, where there's a bunch going to be at the art gallery again, and then there's a bunch going to be at this 420 live party that Asia's doing, and then there's other things too going on. And then I saw Mr. Larson saying that he'll be at his mushroom store. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
So I don't know what the actual FDD double hockey sticks is going on out there, but I'm glad I'm not
Right.
there.
The here, this is some pictures I've got here. Okay, here we go. And this is from a Peterborough 420 rally. This was from 2013.
I know,
So
right?
9 years ago, this was the beginning. Like, we were all at the park, which was like a block south of the police station there. You can see it says Peterborough Police. And we were just a block away from them, and we walked up past the police station and
Taking the thrill away. You know what it is? Before we'd walk down there and we're all like anticipating big, bunch of cops. We're all going to get busted for smoking a joint, and the adrenaline rush of all the cops being there. They've taken the thrill away because now it doesn't matter.
well, yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, there is
it anymore.
yeah. But you can see here, we're not thousands of people, but we've got a group of us that are going around and make our way past City Hall there in the photos, and we're heading downtown with our group there. Flags are going. We're downtown there now, through the lights, past the businesses. There's Pipe Dreams.
I've been to that store.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Look at that. Hey, come in. Get 420 off.
That's the Peterborough head shop that I went to with Vicky when I went out there for my first trip, my second trip actually. I bought my first cute boxer. Yep.
Yeah, it's still there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. With legalization, you're kind of worried about some of these places shutting down because they sell bongs and papers and everything in the stores too, right? But I'm glad to hear that they're still kicking. That's good.
So the sign says, "Come in for 20% off." So you got 20% off on 420.
Awesome.
Okay, whizzing along. There we go. Still downtown, amongst all the traffic, and everything was good.
You know, even in Lethbridge,
You know?
we never had any issues with the cops. Even with the global marijuana march, like we didn't impede traffic, we didn't hold up traffic. They didn't even really give a shit because that's what we were told. Like as long as you don't, cause any traffic
Yeah.
impairment, you guys can do whatever you want. Like, and I mean, not like they didn't want us smoking out. We were kind of mindful about smoking in public. But we also, like, my
Hmm.
kids showed up and they were underage, and I told them to beat it. I said, as much as I love you for showing up, you both are not 18 because Alberta's 18. You have to go. I don't want you
Hmm.
here. Like, yeah.
So here we are, downtown Peterborough, and these are the two the local radio stations,
Oh yeah, yeah.
owned by, yeah, and so they've moved from this location now. But you could look right in the window where the DJs were, right? So that's what we did. We got around the window, so the DJ, to say something, right?
They were probably part of Bell Media, and they probably got shut down.
Chorus Radio is what they're part of.
It's funny. We've got Vista out here, and our local radio station's not going anywhere. But the other one, that's Palace. What's his name? Jim Pattison. Pattison Broadcasting. That one might be going to.
What else we got here? Okay.
I wish that we had gotten more mainstream media coverage, because we did for a bit, especially the big ones out in Vancouver. But remember, we would always say they always put the kids with the bong on the that are underage on the lawn on the front page of a newspaper.
Yeah.
And that was always like the bad PR we always seem to get, which caused the stigma that goes along with cannabis, right? Look at those kids, like they look like a bunch of orphans,
Yeah.
smoking the bong on a lawn, right?
Yeah. There's Wayne and Shallon. They're the ones who organized the
Nice.
420 rally up there. They're also the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop that advertises here. That we run a promo for them. They own.
Yeah, he's always been really supportive, right? Like even when you first were asked a place to put the grassroots and for on TY Magazine, he was more than happy to take your promotions, right?
The information.
Yep.
Going to the different flea markets and stuff, and you can see right here in this photo where the ladies are here handing out information through from Pace, and and then you can see the people standing around the booth there that Shay and Wayne are in, and you see the people all standing around. And this is, like I said, this is like just a block south of the police station.
Mm-hmm.
That was
well, having
so it was always a good time. And then I had when I was going to Niagara Falls, I got to I don't have any photos of it because it was so long ago. That I got to speak twice. I was one of the speakers, and that was because of partially 1 year was because of Wendell Grant, the reefer reporter on the Belleville terrestrial radio station. So they had me speak about that situation, and then Marco had me come down and speak 1 year on behalf of Treating Salt.
Yeah, it's funny how things were, a little more laid back in certain aspects, and things got really, weird about cannabis again, and they kind of loosened off a bit. And, it all kind of depended on who was the Prime Minister of Canada, to be fair. Because when Chrétien was in, like, everybody's just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, it was more like he had that line he always liked to say, "Oh, I'll have the money for my fine in my hand in my other pocket with a joint I'm smoking in the other one."
like Chrétien was so pro cannabis, and like to be fair, like in the 70s they were looking at legalization, and then the Senate report came out showing that there was no harms. They did an extensive study, in 2000. Senate report that came out, showing no harms, and that they really should legalize cannabis. And then we got a bunch, we got Mulroney, and then we had with Reagan, right along that same, anti-drug kind of situation, right? And
That
then,
was the Ledane report.
yeah, the Levine Commission, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, like I said, and then Chrétien, and he was like more laid back, and then it became like Martin, and then, yeah, it was just kind of weird all through that. And then you had Harper, which was an absolute fucking nightmare.
Well,
Right?
you gotta look at what were the cannabis laws under the last time.
The conservatives were in
When
power.
Harper was in, that was the last conservative.
Mandatory minimum jail sentencing
Yeah.
for minor offenses, like like a 3 strike and you go out kind of deal,
Yeah.
right? Liberals
6
said,
plans got you 6 months in jail, mandatory minimum.
and I know people that actually did the time for that.
Wow.
Right? So again, in the 90s too, who was our prime minister in the 90s? Who the hell was that?
Before him would be Joe Clark.
Yep, that'd be it. He was a pretty hard
He was
ass.
a conservative, yet
Conservative.
conservatives have always been against it.
Anything.
I just did I just shared today on Facebook. It was a quote from Rona Ambrose.
Oh God.
Yeah, I shared it on my Facebook.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, a flashback. I remember that douchebag. She's oh well, because because macros, right? John and Bob Sear, and she was an instrumental like nightmare for them because they got busted. It was the first Compassion Club in Edmonton or in Alberta, right? And John is still, Bob's passed away now, but yeah, like she was a fucking nightmare. Yeah.
Here we go.
Rose,
It was the letter of the day. It was letter of the day. This was April the 17th, 2015, 9 years ago. And it says Tories oppose selling marijuana in stores because it harms kids. That was the title of it. That was the undertitle. The main title of the letter says, "Put a lid on pot." So, and normally those come by the person who is not submitting the article. It's put by the editor who's doing the layout and all that stuff, right? Doing all that stuff. But it says, as health minister, I'm very concerned about the health risks associated with smoking marijuana, especially for kids. Kids aren't smoking cannabis. It's not for kids to smoke cannabis.
No, and we weren't pushing it ever on children. But here's the funniest thing you found out after the fact. Her great-grandfather was a hemp farmer in Northern Alberta because Jan and Bob would go to the farmers markets with their hemp products, right?
Right.
And Rona Ambrose's grandparents.
Oh.
They didn't like her much either.
Now, she goes on to say that a new Statistics Canada report confirms conservative government's approach to combating cannabis smoking is working. It states that the past year, use has gone down by nearly 1/3 of youth aged 15 to 17. Now, you would probably know about the UNICEF report that showed that Canada's youth were leading the industrial world in consumption.
Right. And to be fair with that too, like they were actually, the study I think was done like on age groups between, I think it was 14 and 24, right? So it's not really little kids. And if you look at the size of the way, let's put it this way: when you were 14, what the fuck were you doing, right? And if they expect at that point in time to, girls had consent at 10 and could have babies at 10, they're worried about a kid smoking cannabis, Rona. Like, come on.
It goes on to say the evidence is clear that when you smoke marijuana, their risks of developing mental health issues, including psychosis and schizophrenia, increase, and that regular long-term use in youth can harm concentration, memory, and the ability to think and make decisions, can also produce anxiety, paranoia, fear, or panic.
Where's this research? Because as far as we know now, there hasn't been any done.
you know, there are some people that, you know, have some issues, and there's
Yep.
some people that I would say that are, you know, predisposed to some conditions. You know, just like cheeseburgers aren't for everybody, cannabis isn't for everybody.
No, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and nobody's
Correct,
forced.
exactly.
And if you,
It
I've
doesn't
got
mean that it's the cause of
no, and it shouldn't be restricted for everybody. It'd be like restricting chocolate,
grant
coffee.
coffee.
So
Yeah, coffee. At one time, coffee wasn't a banned substance back in like the 1600s or something,
right.
because of
So
the fact that it was a
I
stimulant.
mean, right. So where are you going to like? Where are the prohibition of anything has never done anybody any good. You know, at the bottom end of things, it's prohibition, right? And you always know that when you tell people what they can't do, they want to do it twice as much. So why just
Oh
like?
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I know we have to
Well,
have, we can't murder, steal, and do bad things. But I mean, if you're not harming anybody or even yourself for that matter, what does it matter?
she
And then
goes on to say that we oppose the liberals' deeply irresponsible scheme to make it easier for our children to access cannabis by selling it in stores,
yeah, just like they can access liquor more, efficiently and easily too, because they sell it in stores too.
What's that?
Alcohol. They sell
Oh,
that
yeah.
in stores too. But that's going to be more appealing to children, and they're going to be able to walk right in and get it. If you got age restrictions.
Yeah, our provincial government has announced that they are changing our alcohol laws effective in 2026. Alcohol will be eligible to be available in corner stores.
I thought he was doing that before.
No, it's in some like grocery chains locations, like Walmart, for example. They have, I know the one in Belleville.
And
it has an alcohol section.
What's the benefits? What's the purpose of putting liquor into corner stores? What's the benefits to the people for that? So it's more accessible, so you can just
more accessible.
Use it more. So you can have more abuse of it because it's more accessible.
So they well, I know here in Ontario we have more cannabis stores than we do.
We do too. Like, to be fair, we've got more cannabis stores than we do liquor stores too. Yeah. But again, I just don't understand the purpose of that. Like, what do you think it's going to do? Well, I guess they're looking at
Access.
More
access.
More taxes. More taxes, right, for their liquor.
Well, okay. Is that now something that that people could say, well, okay, if cannabis is if alcohol is now available at convenience and corner stores, why can't that same person ask for ID for someone who wants cannabis?
You should be able to.
If that, yeah.
But again, they've always said they will never put cannabis and now liquor in the same.
Well, no, but they could use that same model in a convenience store.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're selling tobacco, if you're selling tobacco already in your convenience store, you should be eligible to be able to sell cannabis at the store because you're already registered with the gaming and tobacco. Like for cannabis, it's still all under cannabis, alcohol, gaming, and tobacco.
Yeah, you still have to know how to ask for ID, right?
Right. So if you're absolutely selling cigarettes at your convenience store or at your grocery store, then and lottery, because you have to be 19 or 18 and over to sell lottery, why aren't you able to sell anything like that? So I'm not against having liquor in the stores. I just think it's like, I don't know what the big hoopla is about it. Oh, we're doing this for you. No, you're not. You're doing
but it is a because here it's always been here in Ontario. It's always been.
You're didn't have to fucking vote for Doug Ford because he put liquor in a fucking corner store.
Well, hey, people voted for a buck of beer. That lasted like 6 months or a year, maybe.
There can't be that many simple people in Canada.
Well, it's time for a commercial break. There must be. People are voted in. People vote for it.
A buck of beer. Well,
Okay, I'll have to pay you some bills when we return. Our discussion will continue, and that will be talking about some new shows that are coming here on the network. You're
awesome.
watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back. Hey, what you doing? Taking a picture of us?
Actually, I'm doing a video for TikTok so that we can promote the show on that platform.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, hey.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, at least enough people so we can start going live on this medium too. So, yeah. So I'm just doing
All right.
Out, and I'm just telling everybody they can watch us on the Pace Radio Network and on Roku TV, and I'll be turning this off and we'll go back to the show because we're live.
And or if you're live, yeah, you can catch us right on our YouTube.
Yeah,
we're live on YouTube. We're live at our website as well, paceradio.net. We're live there as well.
There you go. So paceradio.net. So if you want to watch us live, come on down. All right. So we're just gonna post that. Yeah. So I figured why not show the commercials and stuff and do a quick little video.
Okay.
So I just do like videoing the commercials and stuff, and now I'm gonna put a video up and it'll go onto TikTok.
Oh, okay, to go on TikTok. All right. Okay.
Like I think because I do that with my show too. Like I advertise, like say,
No,
hey, if you want to see me live, I'll be on, at this
I
time.
thought, is she texting? What's she doing there? Right?
No,
I
I was
just see you
not.
point
No, I
the
was doing
camera.
a lot. I was trying to do this. Yeah, trying to do a video of commercials. And stuff.
Maybe you're getting a selfie with the mountains behind you.
Yeah, no, that was no.
No,
My intentions
all right.
was people we can maybe get some audience going and add some more, add some more people because the more people the better,
Yes.
right?
Okay. All right. I have got everything I think that I need here. Okay. All right. As far as what I talked about before the break, and that was the fact that we've got some new shows coming here on the Pace Radio Network, and I'm just trying to line up the one here, and that way I get everything right. First up, this is the Veterans Action Council. Yeah, you can see it there. Okay, I got it up there. You can see that they've got a bunch of different interviews here that they've
Awesome.
done. This weekend, you can see right here, this one's Chris Conrad. He's been around for many years doing advocacy in the U.S.
Right.
He's coming up. You can see here Chris Bennett from British Columbia, or now Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. He's now on the east coast of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Al Byrne, he was a guest on there, and he was a guest. Al Byrne is a guest on the Pace Radio Show, and Al, who is the one who connected me to all three of these broadcasts that we're going to discuss tonight. So
nice.
Who else we got? Morgan Fox. You go back 7 months. Some of these just start getting older, but that's fine. It's still good conversation.
Right.
Michael and Michelle Aldridge. I had heard about them. You can see them there, the older couple there.
Mm-hmm.
Lily Dubois. She was on there talking with them. There's Dr. McNabb, Dr. Marion McNabb. Alice O'Leary Randall, and I believe she is the wife of the fellow who was receiving, I can't be 100% sure here, but was receiving his cannabis from the federal government at one time due to he was blind.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. Dr. Peter Grinspoon, that's Dr. Lester's son.
Right.
United Nations a year ago. They went down to the United Nations a year ago. They just got back from there, so it'll be interesting to see how they make out when they get one of those, when they get that posted. So I basically what I'm doing is they get together like every 2 weeks and they have their meetings. So what I'll be doing is playing some older stuff and putting in some new stuff.
Awesome.
Mixing it up. Other than it saying that, maybe tomorrow is Remembrance Day when it's in the middle of July, so obviously it's not. But the information is still important to share with you.
Absolutely. When you think about the UN, and you think that Uruguay had already legalized, but they're not part of the UN. Canada was the first UN country, G7 country, to legalize cannabis and to criminalize any small amount of drugs. But now Germany has as well. So I think that this is going to be really opening the door for a lot of the Western countries in Europe to alleviate, and generate money. Because I think they're actually seeing the fact that there is money being generated in Canada because of cannabis, right?
Yeah. No one's making a profit, or the Ontario Cannabis Store is, but as far yeah. Okay.
Right?
So you
Still
got them.
collecting the PST, right? The provincial
Yeah.
governments are still collecting the PST.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yeah.
that's still money generated.
Yeah, it is. So the Veteran Action Council, they do advocacy. They help with veterans. There are veterans who got together over COVID to always, talk and get together, right? Just to communicate.
Right.
And it's just grown from there. And they get involved in stuff within the U.S. and they go a little more worldwide, global. As I mentioned, they went to the UN last year. They went to the UN again this year on behalf of patients to speak up. So
Yeah,
now
that's awesome.
the next broadcast, and that show will air Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. Okay.
Nice.
Now this next show. Is called the Humboldt Legacy Project, or the Humboldt Grace Project. It's connected. Lily Dubois, who I mentioned in the last at the Veteran Action Council, she's also a past a past guest on the Pace Radio show. She's involved in putting a series of these interviews together. With host Kevin Jodry, and they have these different people who they have interviewed over the last while, and they're going to continue to do so. This fella Ryan Lee, it just aired this past weekend. He's a Canadian expert and cannabis botanist and geneticist.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, it gives you a bit of an idea, kind of.
Canadian, these guys Canadian, or are they American?
No, this comes from, as I mentioned, Lily. She is located in the Emerald Triangle in California.
Okay.
She's.
I just think of the Humboldt. I think of the hockey players and Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah.
So
No, this is California. I can understand. Yeah, I can see why. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Lily is the Humboldt Grace, the Humboldt Legacy Project comes through that, and they get these different people come on and do interviews. And there'll be people, as well as the legacy people from right there in, from the Triangle, right?
Nice.
Who are going to be involved in the interviews.
Nice.
So I look forward to that, and that's that show is gonna rotate every other Monday night. It
Nice.
won't run every Monday night, so every other Monday night at 9 o'clock.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Fill them up.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. That's what I always say. The more the merrier. The more education.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we got one more show that is being added to the network, and I'm just getting that one brought up as well. There we go. Yeah, it's so the third show that's being added, it will rotate on the opposite Monday to the Humboldt Grace Legacy Project there. So this one will go every other Monday, same time, 9 o'clock. And this show has been assembled by a veteran located in the U.S. Okay, located in the U.S. and has been on the air as a radio podcast I'm going to say for just over 20 years. A bit of a break the last few years, but it's been around for at least 20 plus years. Had also done some video podcasting before then. Did interviews. And to tell you the truth, this is the 11th year of the radio show. And the reason why the Pace Radio Show got a home was because of Time for Hemp. I was a joint host with Casper Leach of Time for Hemp when he broadcasted every day through the week. And he asked me to start my own show. So I started the Pace Radio Show. I was running Pace, doing all the shows for TY and everything as far as going, face to face with people in the public. And so Casper asked me to do a broadcast, and that's where the Pace Radio Show got started back in 2013.
Right.
Yeah. So Casper, like I said, has been doing this for over 20 years, and he's got some episodes here of content that he's been able to put together and create the different episodes, such as you can see here. Global medical cannabis markets require constant research. Marijuana is good for you, and each one will have there's different shows where he's taken the information and put things together.
Awesome.
Eliminated the ums and the ahs and speaking of ums, and clean them all up. There's stuff in there that is older, can be older stuff, but the information is still important and relevant to today. 30,000 hours of all audio podcasts.
Wow.
Is what Time for Hemp has done over the years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so we're going to have access to that stuff and be able to broadcast it here. As well as there'll be some new stuff. I'll talk to them about coming on next week. Casper and Al Byrne, as I've mentioned his name a couple times. He's working with Casper on this. They have some terrific interviews with some very well-known people in the cannabis community that help spread the word for years, researchers and doctors and stuff. So it'd be good. It's just like, for example, if you took some of Michelle Rainey's stuff and updated it some to, I'm sure that her education could continue. And it's still available on YouTube.
Yeah, it is.
Right? So,
Michelle's medicinal closet.
What's that?
Michelle's medicinal closet.
Yeah. Well, it's all stuff that taught us, and it's still important stuff. So, so Casper has like I said, all that audio. Or I'll run it. It won't be like a broadcast, like a human broadcast. It's going to require some picture stuff or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I can generate something with AI. I know that Casper has on his website a 2.5 minute video that was done with AI, and I'll tell you, like I was just like, holy shit, like. I would have like this picture's mouth moved to the audio in the radio broadcast. It was like, real. Yeah. So I don't see me being able to do that. I don't know. Huh?
It's creepy. It's already creepy enough when you're watching videos and you're not sure if the person's real or not.
Well,
That's
yeah,
creepy.
because
So-
I turned, I had it on my phone, right, and I turned to Gail and I said, "Hey, look at this," and then I said, I said that's a picture that's talking to you. That's not a human, right? So yeah, she was surprised.
yeah, I was watching, like, what is it called? I don't know. It's on BBC, but they have robots.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fucking.
let me see. As far as I guess he's got an interview here that he did with Tommy Chong and Dr. Tim Leary. This one here. Okay, this is
The ability to be in the U.S. and have the ability to have that different audience, right?
Yeah.
But being in Canada,
Yeah.
like, you don't get the access to these, the people, right? Where
These
we're such,
people.
like, we have such a small population comparatively to the United States. Like,
Well, here you go. Here you go. He took different interviews and he put them together and created this Roots of Medicinal Cannabis Research. And Al Byrne is involved with him on this show, and Dr. Donald Abrams. He's HIV doctor, big on the cannabis. Dr. Ethan Russo. Do I need to say any more?
Dr. Russo, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Dennis Petro. The next one, Dr. Raphael Mushulin. I don't need to say much about him either. We all know about him. Dr. Andrew Well, Mary Lynn Mathry. She's a nurse. I believe she's a veteran, but I'm not 100% sure. I believe she is. Patients Out of Time, I believe she was involved with.
Right.
And lots of knowledge, obviously, with some of those doctors' names that I mentioned that were on his broadcasts over the years. And
I've never looked into Dr. Russo. What is, actual medical credentials? Are they medical? Are they naturopaths? Like, what are
oh, okay. Well, if you
what are their stances on other medications, right?
Well, I can tell you.
Like, I'm all for a doctor that's all about, like, helping people get access and information about cannabis. But I also am not into a doctor that's anti-vax and going to tell you to use oregano oil for meningitis, right? Like,
yeah,
doctor is he?
I'm just waiting for the page to do its thing.
Lots of stuff that's come out. Dr. Russo says about cannabis, which is terrific. I always want to hear the information. But again, what else is he prescribing for people? Is he prescribing?
Oh yeah.
Is he prescribing?
Unfortunately, StreamYard is taking its time on my computer right now.
That's right.
I can't bring it up. I have to.
I've never actually looked at that, and just because of the whole thing with vaccinations and all these people that are not willing to vaccinate their kids and meningitis and all these and measles and all these other regular diseases are coming back. Oh, I lost him. I don't know what the stance is on that. Oh, Al went away. I don't know what happened to Al. Good grief. Obviously, his internet must have went down, which sometimes happens for him out in Ontario because he's out in the rural areas. So, yeah, we were talking about Dr. Ethan Russo, and I was kind of looking through stuff. This is not Ethan Russo, permanent girl, Dr. Ethan, MD. So it looks like he's a medical doctor, certified by a medical doctor. This is not Ethan Russo that I know. Oh, maybe. He looks way younger than I thought. Interesting. We'll have to bring that up. I thought Dr. Ethan Russo was old. This guy doesn't look old. Prague, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic. Medical director. There you are. I thought, yeah, you must have disappeared. There you are.
I'm back.
I figured your internet must have went down. Now I
No.
found Dr. Ethan Russo online here, but it doesn't look like the same Ethan Russo that we would be talking to because
Okay. Well,
this guy's
on my
public.
on my website, okay, on the at pace-online.ca, which is if you went to paceradio.net and clicked on the menu, you would see the homepage for pace-online.ca. And within the menu, on the drop-down menu, you'll see a tab that says Cannabis Researchers. And if you go in there, it has a bunch of researchers like Dr. Robert Melamy.
Oh, I know, like that. Yeah, that's great. I know that all that, but I mean, I want to find out like what his credentials are. Like I said,
well, I'm thinking that might help you here.
Yeah, well, I'm Google, and Google's showing me some young dude that's not.
Okay, well here you can see right here it says Dr. Ethan Russo, full-time consultant with GW Pharma. This was when I told you. I don't know how update. This information might be a little bit off.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking at too, right?
Yeah.
But I thought that Dr. Ethan Russo that was advising us on, remember the old list, was a lot older than this.
No, I don't know.
Maybe I was just misconception.
Yeah.
I thought he was an old dude, and he's not some old dude.
Yeah. Well, he worked with for pain linked to MS and cancer, but he has a neurology practice for 20 years.
Well, then there's a medical doctor. He believes in science.
And has previously published studies examining the history of cannabis. So to learn more about him, I've got a Google and a YouTube link right there. All you have to do is just click on them.
All right, I see them now.
All right.
He's talking about hypermesis syndrome, cannabinoid hypermesis syndrome.
I don't know what he's talked about lately or today or anything like that, but that's some information on him.
I know. Okay.
Is what but I got all kinds of doctors listed on here. Even Dr. William Brooke O'Shaughnessy. You know what he discovered? No. He discovered. Okay, there we are. Back in here. Okay, in about 1940s. Okay, 1840. 1840s. So like 185 years ago or 183 years ago. Okay. It says right here. O'Shaughnessy established his reputation by successfully relieving the pain of rheumatism and stilling the convulsions of an infant with cannabis. The convulsions of an infant.
Right.
I look at that as like this guy knew back then that there was a benefit to cannabis.
They say the old LDS Mormons out here at Bountiful, the polygamists, they all have, and I've used CBD oils and tinctures and stuff with cannabis for decades. For menopause, for menstrual pain, for I've been told that. The Duke of Orange too, apparently.
Okay, there we go. Well, there we go. We talked about the microwave weed.
That's still just ridiculous to me.
We discussed some old 420s. There are events happening in Toronto. There is the Canna Crawl that's going on in Hamilton. But yeah, there's no organized that I'm aware of. Yonge and Dundas Square or Nathan Phillips Square is in the past. I don't know of anything that's organized. Some people might just show up, see what's going on, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
It's said the Global Marijuana March. That's why you see me doing some promos, trying to let people know what's still going on out there, because just because legalization and COVID doesn't mean that cannabis law reform needs to come to an end. We still need to change laws. Right?
Shouldn't be any laws.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Other than that, it's just about the bottom of the hour, and time for us to say goodbye.
Right?
How was the dub?
It's awesome. That's why I'm chewing on candy, because now I got the munchies.
Good.
No,
All right.
Munchies, and you're chewing on stuff because, it was lovely. Like I said, I had it. Yeah, I'm quite.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. She says hi.
Hi, Gail.
I think maybe she's in the shower. All right. She's around here somewhere.
Maybe she took the dog out.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, we're done. We're heading home, and we'll be back next week.
See everybody on Monday.
Huh?
Monday, Coffee with Marijuana. I'll see everybody then. And then
Yes, exactly. Your broadcast. And I'll talk to Casper about joining us next week.
That'd be terrific.
And other than that, thanks to our sponsors, Legacy420.com, Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, and Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, who are a sponsor of the Toronto Global Marijuana March.
Yay.
This year. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to the broadcast. And before, as we say goodbye, here's just a reminder about the Indigenous Legacy 420 event. See you later. Bye-bye. Hey, what are you doing this 420? Whatever you're doing, make sure to stop into Legacy 420, because the Indigenous owned and operated organic medical cannabis company is having an Indigenous themed 420 celebration. When you arrive, stop into the vending area featuring the local artisans, and check out the fish, corn soup, Indian tacos, and other Indigenous foods that are being prepared throughout the day. Whatever you do, also make sure to bring your pets, as they have their own area to bounce around in. And while you're there, take some time to talk to Ollie Dog, who will answer all your pet-related cannabis questions. And for you, don't forget to check out the free cannabis-infused samples. This 420, make sure to stop into 346 York Road on the Tioga Mohawk territory, home of Legacy 420, where the Indigenous medical cannabis legacy continues.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.